Hey everyone, Dalton here. Real quick before we get into the review, there was a little bit of a problem, if you couldn't tell already, and I'd rather go ahead and take care of this now than having to reshoot the video because I just don't feel like having to record every little bit, take every single photo again. But just want to note that the head here was missing, a few of the paint apps, so I contacted, Fun Publications Collectors Club, and they went ahead and took care of that. So let's go ahead and get this little head off of here and put on the new one and take a quick look at that. So there you can see it's got the silver crest on the forehead and that, a little bit of silver there, so we can see the difference between the two. So just thought I'd go ahead and point that out now. That way I don't get a whole bunch of comments saying, oh, it's missing paint apps or the head looks a little bland. So there. Got that fixed. So let's go ahead and get into a review and go from there. Hey, what is going on everyone? This is Dalton at Dalton TFCC, and today we're taking a look at another subscription type figure. This is the Transformers Collectors Club Incentive, aka free figure. And for those who didn't know, well, we're about to find out if you couldn't tell right here, or by the thumbnail or title. We've got Ramjet. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that right there. That is paint rubbing off from the intakes. In my opinion, big problem, because it just shows that there's not any care put into the packaging as far as the incentive figures, whereas it is with the subscription figures. I wish FunPub would have put a layer of foam. It would have rubbed a little, but I don't think it would be nearly as bad as what we're seeing right here. So I honestly don't know why this happened, why they decided not to do the foam over the top. It honestly would not have cost them any much more than what they did here. But yeah, that's one major gripe out of the way. So let's go ahead and get them out of here. Well, difficult to do. I find it weird that they added this little piece. If they didn't add this little piece, I think they honestly would have had... Yeah, see, they would have had a lot more room, or at least cut this in half. It would have had a lot more room. It wouldn't have done anything, or, unless it was the plan to begin with, put it in like that, where it's still flat, but this is protected from the box coming down. The only thing that would have rubbed were the Unicron ports. I think that was the intent, but it ended up going the other way around. So, yeah, if this had been put up around like this, I think everything would have been fine. So, that out of the way, let's go ahead and get them out. Go in here, grab our bio card and instructions, put this all away. And focus on Ramjet himself. Let's go ahead and flip out the landing gear. And he looks beautiful as far as everything else, minus these little, two markings where the paint rubbed off. Everything else just turned out amazing. I've seen this at BotCon using Paul's, or Optimus' in-hand sample that he was given to review by Pete Sinclair from back at the beginning of April, or actually near the middle to end of August, just before BotCon. Now seeing it in hand, feeling it, it is amazing. A lot of nice molded and painted blue, throughout here. Silver is nice and crisp, no bleeding. My con badges are, for the most part, straight. I can't tell looking if they're off or not. Some nice white paint right in through here. Let's go ahead and zoom in, take a look at that. Just very nice looking. Nice kind of matte red paint right in through here. Translucent yellowish green cockpit. Overall, very nice job. Do get got a little bit of a paint bleed coming off through here, but it's nothing too major. I mean, this is going to be on his back for the most part, so yeah, that's not a huge problem. So let's go ahead and get the bio card out of here. I don't really care if I tear this little saran wrap anymore. But bringing that out, very nice artwork, and as you can tell, it is based on the, if you couldn't already tell, the universe character, which is a Herald of Unicron, just the embodiment of chaos and insanity. And if you want, you can read the bio. There's his tech specs. Very high strength, speed, and fire blast. Pretty good intelligence too. Intelligence of 9, rank of 9, or 8, and then rank of 9. Most everything is either a 10 or an 8. The only thing that's a 9 is the rank, so not bad. I like that quote too. Accept your fate and welcome the glorious chaos that awaits. I've got a friend who would just absolutely love that theme, or that motto, so get that out of there. And bringing in some of the other uses of this mold, pretty much all of them that have been released besides the Takara Starscream that I own. I don't own that particular version of this mold, but I do have the regular Starscream. So we've got Starscream, Supermode Starscream, aka Thundercracker, G-Axis, and Ramjet. Really looking forward to getting the Skywarp, and I might get another one of these and swap the head around. Someone out bought kind of gave me that idea to make this kind of a pseudo Sunstorm, which isn't a bad idea. So go ahead and set these guys off to the side. And transforming him, we'll just go ahead and do it real quick. I've done it so many times. If you want an in-depth transformation, the card will be popping up as I speak right about now for the review of Starscream or G-Axis. I'm pretty sure it's the Starscream. So go check that out. Rotate these. And there we have, get those folded down. Bring this head up. And there we have Ramjet. And even better in robot mode, the head turned out really, really nicely. I'm not sure if this was made by FunPub or Hasbro or by the Four Horsemen. I might ask my buddy Dakota. He might know more about that than I do. But I love the way the head turned out. Very nicely painted on mine. I know some people have had issues with theirs, but the eyes, no bleed through. It looks like there's a slight scratch in that left eye, but it doesn't take it away from the figure at all. You got that black for the mouth plate, the open yellow mouth. Love the fin on the top of the head, and I'm glad they brought it up a little higher on the ball joint, so that way we can fold this head all the way back so we can get that fin sticking out just like with the original version of the character. But just absolutely beautiful. I love the shade of blue, the white, everything works together really well. Now, what would have been funny is if they hadn't released this until July, that way 2 years in a row we would have gotten, last year we had Nacelle, and then this year would have been the second year with Ramjet here that we got a American flag colored figure, and funny enough, both of them being Decepticons. But very nice all around. The launchers still work probably even more powerful than usual, and they actually stay up mainly thanks to the paint, so you can have that little bit of red poking through the top there, which I might actually keep it that way. So let's go ahead and put this back in here, and there we go. Just adds a little bit more to it, and then the white there for the tabs. Let's go ahead and take this off and flip out the... Now that's one problem I have with this, with it being clear plastic, is it doesn't like to stay together. And the tolerances on the hands, they are molded in this blue, but it is a little tight getting the sword into his hands. I know I've had that problem with my Supermode Starscream. With the regular one, it's not too big of a deal. it, just barely putting it in there. So it looks pretty good. He's got 2 of them, and they're kind of this, I don't know if it's technically a smoky clear or if the amount of detail that's within these molds plus the gray missiles is making it look smoky, but I'm pretty sure it's either a smoky or just colorless clear plastic. Actually, yeah, it's a smoky clear. I mean, because the Thundercracker is a straight up just clear, so that clears that up. So, pun. I didn't even realize I made that pun. Anyways, let's go ahead and get the rest of these guys into robot mode for just a quick little comparison, and we will go from there. And here we have Ramjet with the rest of the versions that I have of the Seeker mold, including G-Axis, even though he's been heavily retooled, like I said before. But yeah, get him out of the way since he doesn't technically count. So here these 3 are, and again, they look great together. Cannot wait for Skywarp, and yeah, I mean, just the colors really pop on him as well as here. I do want to get the Takara version of the Armada Starscream just so I can have them more unified, especially with this. But overall, I am really happy with Ramjet. Nothing is really overly loose. All the joints are still pretty tight for the most part, especially here on the biceps hole. That's a little scary. And rotating up here on the shoulder itself. The elbow joints are pretty tightly pinned in there too. So everything is still pretty good. The tolerances, the mold, everything has still held up. I'm okay with the head being a little on the loose side because it gives you more, I mean, it's easier to move around than the rest of the Seeker molds. But overall, I'm very happy with this. I could not be happier. Makes me want to actually go out and get the original universe figure of this same design and characters. Yes, yeah. But yeah, like I said, happy, glad to have this. Cannot wait for Skywarp. I'm going to stop rambling. So if you want to check out some more photos of this guy and some more stuff, be sure to check out my Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can find those pages down in the description, along with the transformation for Starscream if you didn't click on the card already. That's pretty much it. This has been Dalton, and I'll see you guys all later.